The year is 1953. The Korean War has just ended, leaving Washington reeling from shocking reports of American POWs publicly confessing to war crimes and defecting to communism. CIA analysts, gripped by Cold War paranoia, become convinced the Soviets have developed a revolutionary method of mind control, a way to completely break and reprogram the human will. Faced with this perceived existential threat, CIA Director Allen Dulles greenlights Project MKUltra, authorizing a blank check and absolute secrecy. The mission is not to understand the mind, but to conquer it. The goal: develop a fail-safe technique to create the perfect programmable asset, a loyal spy, an unwitting assassin, or a propaganda weapon. The only rule is that there are no rules. Human ethics are declared a luxury America can no longer afford. The target is no longer the enemy's mind, but the very concept of free will itself. MKUltra was not a single experiment, but a sprawling network of over 150 sub-projects conducted at universities, hospitals, prisons, and private institutions. The methodology was a horrifying blend of pseudoscience and raw brutality. At the core was the systematic dismantling of human identity. Doctors operating under CIA grants administered massive, unregulated doses of LSD to unwitting subjects, hospital patients, prison inmates, and even their own colleagues, documenting their psychological disintegration. This was paired with extreme sensory deprivation. Subjects were suspended in dark, soundproof tanks for days or weeks, their minds unraveling in the void. Others endured relentless electroconvulsive therapy, not for treatment, but to create a clean slate of scrambled memories. Hypnosis was pushed to its limits in attempts to implant false memories and trigger commands. The search for a truth serum led to experiments with barbiturates, mescaline, and paralytic drugs. In the most brutal corners of the program, psychosurgery, including lobotomies, was explored as a means of permanent control. The labs were clean, the notes were clinical, but the work was pure, calculated horror, reducing human consciousness to a broken system waiting to be reprogrammed. The human cost of MKUltra remains incalculable. The program operated on a fundamental premise: the subjects were expendable. One of the most infamous cases is that of Dr. Frank Olson, a brilliant biochemist working for the U.S. Army. At a 1953 retreat, CIA agents secretly dosed him with LSD. Olson experienced a severe psychotic break, consumed by paranoia and guilt over his work. Instead of providing help, the CIA placed him under surveillance. Days later, he fell to his death from a 13th-floor hotel window, a death ruled a suicide, but later investigations revealed he was likely murdered to prevent him from exposing the program. His family received a hollow apology decades later. Olson was not alone. Patients at psychiatric hospitals like the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal were subjected to brutal depatterning treatments involving drug-induced comas and electroshock, their identities erased. Prostitutes in San Francisco were paid to dose their clients with LSD and CIA-run safe houses, turning intimate encounters into unregulated experiments. The program targeted society's most vulnerable: the institutionalized, the imprisoned, the poor, people whose disappearances or mental collapses would raise few questions. Their trauma was merely data in a ledger, their shattered lives a footnote in the pursuit of an impossible weapon. In 1973, with the Watergate scandal exposing government corruption, CIA Director Richard Helms gave the order that would define MKUltra's legacy: destroy all files. Tons of documents, tapes, and research data were incinerated. What little evidence survived was only because of a bureaucratic error: financial records stored separately. The official story became one of a rogue program, shut down and condemned. Public hearings in 1977 revealed fragments of the truth, but the full scope was buried. But MKUltra did not die. It evolved. Its core objective, finding predictable levers to influence human behavior, simply migrated. Declassified documents show research into subliminal messaging, mass media influence, and crowd psychology continued under new names. The techniques pioneered in those dark labs found fertile ground in the advertising industry, political campaigning, and public relations. The search for the Manchurian candidate shifted from a lone assassin to the manipulation of entire populations. Social media algorithms, viral trends, and targeted disinformation campaigns are the direct descendants of MKUltra's logic. The ultimate irony is that the program, born from a fear of communist brainwashing, may have perfected the very tools of mass psychological control it sought to defeat, leaving us all as unwitting subjects in a global, unending experiment.